Hey there guys, happy Wednesday and happy 713 day. I am KHOU 11 digital anchor Brandi Smith. If you're wondering about the history of 713 day, because it's not really an official holiday, it's all about Houston's original area code, which was 713 when area codes were introduced here. I've seen a couple comments from folks who lived here before there were area codes, but once those were added, I think it was in 1947, let me confirm. 1947, as part of the North American Numbering Plan. And then in 1996, kind of everything outside of Beltway 8, the suburbs of Houston, got the 281? 281. A few years later, 832 came in, and then if you have a 346, that was added in 2014. It doesn't sound like we're going to get any new area codes, at least for a couple of years, but Houston keeps growing, so we will see. Anyway, all that to say, it is a day to celebrate Houston. What makes it special? What makes it unique? I posed a question on my Facebook page asking, you know, people move here for all sorts of different reasons, but what made you fall in love with the city? And Charles answered diversity. That made me think of the release of the Kinder Institute study. It's an annual study, but the latest one just came out in May, and Adam Bennett put together this story about it.
The lead researcher says because Houston is the most ethnically diverse region in the country, this survey gives a glimpse into where the rest of the U.S. could be in 25 years. Useful info, he says, to show not only where we are, but also how we're changing. Head to the heart of downtown Houston to get the pulse of which way opinion is flowing.
It just puts a smile on your face.
Robert Liljadal moved here from Austin 2 years ago.
The theater districts, the food here is just amazing.
The biggest issue to him?
It's really been crime. We've definitely noticed crime is on the rise.
Lifelong Houstonian Raquel Batista agrees.
Because I have 3 kids and I'm worried about them in the future. If it's bad now, it'll probably be even worse later.
They're not alone. A quarter of the nearly 2,000 Harris County adults Rice surveyed earlier this year called crime the biggest problem facing people in the Houston area. Economic concern was the most common answer. COVID-19 and public health came in third, and traffic congestion, a repeat first-place finisher pre-pandemic, came in at fourth.
People are not always happy about the findings in the surveys, but they want to hear them.
Dr. Stephen Kleinberg launched the effort 4 decades ago. This year, 2 out of every 3 respondents said public schools need significantly more money to provide a quality education.
The source of wealth in the 21st century will have less to do with natural resources and more to do with human resources.
Another surprise, he says, fewer Anglos believe people of color have the same opportunities as their white counterparts.
For the first time now, all majorities in all communities recognize deep inequalities.
Every year brings surprises.
Dr. Kleinberg presented his findings today to a who's who of elected officials, business leaders, and philanthropists. But outside the walls of that luncheon, the question now is whether that new awareness will lead to new laws as the city of the future keeps growing. Adam Bennett, KHOU 11 News.
I love that title, City of the Future. When I talked to Dr. Kleinberg probably 2 years ago, he mentioned that he literally wrote the book about how the diversity of Houston is just an indicator of what America as a whole will be like in probably 10, 20 years, 30 years down the road. Let me know what some of your other favorite things about Houston are as I kind of roll on here. Oh, Tommy says 713 is special to me because my great-granddaughter was born on this day 4 years ago. Ariella Leanne Stone. Happy birthday, Ariella. He says, you know you're a proud Houstonian when you're born on 713. There you go. There are all kinds of celebrations and stuff happening around the city. We have an article on KHOU.com kind of outlining, well, one, the history that I outlined for you at the beginning of this video, but then also all sorts of announcements, drink deals, parties. You know, Houston, we like to celebrate. So let me know what is special about Houston to you. I'm going to move on because it may not be my favorite thing, but it's like in the top 5. I gotta say, it's the food. And this year we had a number of local chefs and restaurant owners nominated for James Beard Awards. So here's a preview piece that Melissa Correa did before the announcements were made.
What a fitting moment for Lucille's in Houston.
This is our 10th anniversary this year.
And first James Beard nomination for Chef Chris Williams.
Quite an honor.
A finalist for Outstanding Restaurateur in 2022.
It's essentially like the Oscars of the food world.
And fans of Julep Bar on Washington Avenue are ready to toast owner Alba Huerta. Her craft cocktails, like the Bayou City Bandit, could earn her Outstanding Bar Program.
So I can't wait. I can't wait. The ultimate thing is that we get to represent our city. We get to represent Houston on these national and world platforms.
This is the first awards for the James Beard Foundation in 2 years. The prestigious honor recognizes exceptional talent and achievement in the culinary arts, hospitality, and media. Testing panelists visit all nominees undercover.
So we want to prepare some barbacoa.
Among the potential winners, the brothers Ortega.
That is pretty cool, actually.
Ruben, the dessert master at Xochi, nominated for Outstanding Pastry Chef. Brother Hugo and his namesake, nominated for Outstanding Hospitality.
And that's where I go, to Sochi or Hugo's. Like if I'm eating in Houston, that's where I'm going.
If you're hoping to go somewhere this summer, consider a culinary journey through all 6 James Beard nominees. Line up early for brisket at Bel Air's Blood Brothers, where Kui Wong is serving backyard barbecue vibes.
What does a backyard barbecue consist of? Good friends, good beer, and good food.
He and the team behind Xin Chow are competing for Outstanding Chef in Texas. Tony Nguyen tells me he's excited. Happy to see Houston represented so well. Hopefully we bring the W home for H-Town.
It's just another wake-up call to all these amazing experiences, and they're so diverse and so different that you have right here in your backyard. To make it to the finals, like that's already a win for us.
And Houston, where the city is as diverse as its culinary scene. Melissa Correa, KHOU 11 News.
So you know, off of that list, there had to be winners and losers, right? Well, one of those nominees brought home the first national James Beard, and that went to Julep for Outstanding Bar Program. Oh, that's not the right thing.
Thank you to my city of Houston, Texas for, yes, loving immigrants. For loving immigrants like me, like my family, welcoming us, and giving us the path to opening our own businesses.
So there you go. You can visit Julep. That is on Washington.
All
and I want to show you
6
this
James
list again.
Beard
Let me
nominees.
pause this so it doesn't advance, and of course it did. There we go. These were the James Beard nominees for this year. I've been to Lucille's. It is wonderful. Blood Brothers, so good. I've been to Hugo's, which is sort of a Houston staple. Haven't been to Xochi or Xin Chow yet, but you know what? Things to add to the to-do list. I see one of my colleagues just shared the article about why we celebrate 713. That's in the comments if you want to take a look. And let me know, again, I'm putting out the call to you. What made you fall in love with this city? I put the question out to some of my coworkers over here. Food was one of them that they said. Another one was sports. This is a great sports town. It can be a frustrating sports town, but it is a great sports town. And sports director Jason Bristol does a series called Strange But True, and they're all sports stories. You can actually, if you go to our KHOU 11, oh, hold on, what's it doing? I don't know what I just did to this, but hold on. There we go. If you go to our KHOU 11 YouTube page, you can find all these playlists, and one of them, as you cycle through, is for Strange But True. I'm going to play a couple of those while I wait for some more of your comments to come in, because they're just so good, and if you want to binge them, get after it.
It's the biggest bust in the history of the Astrodome. The date, April 9th, 1985. Opening day for the Astros. Nolan Ryan on the mound, and on the prowl, Morgana, the kissing bandit Roberts. Best known for sneaking onto fields and pecking her favorite players. Her arrival is not a surprise.
Nope.
She's in town to work as an exotic dancer, and Dome security is determined to stop her. But it doesn't. Morgana heads straight for Nolan, who's waiting for her on one knee. She then turns a double play, kissing shortstop Dickie Thon, before being taken away to jail.
Uh-oh.
And that's a first for Morgana. Never before, in 16 years of smooching athletes, has she been locked up. The Houston Sports Association has her arrested for criminal trespassing.
Criminal trespassing to me sounds like that you meant to cause some kind of criminal act to injure someone or something. This has all been a good, clean fun. It always has been.
The case becomes national news.
I still love our men in blue.
Her lawyer, Richard Racehorse Haynes, uses a gravity defense, claiming Morgana's measurements caused her to tumble over the railing and onto the field.
Oh.
In the end, the association chooses not to fight the law of gravity. Morgana claims victory.
May I say final score, Morgana 2, Houston Sports Association zip.
The kissing bandit busted at the Dome and then jailed. A strange but true Houston sports story.
And I got another one coming at you. Here you go.
A trip around the bases. Yeah, they've done that, along with trips to Nebraska, Illinois, North Dakota, South. It's May 18th, 2021. The Houston Apollos pro baseball team launches into its first road trip of the season. A trip lasting the entire year? The Apollos are a travel team playing exclusively on the road in the American Association, an independent league. And
so every year they have an odd number of teams. For scheduling purposes, they need another team.
Andrew Dunn is the owner of the Apollos, which have played in various leagues throughout the years.
You know, this is a hard lifestyle.
Okay, how hard is it? Games this season in 9 states, as well as Canada.
Wow.
In less than 5 months, they'll drive roughly 15,000 miles. And adding insult to itinerary, the Apollos have endured a 17-game losing streak. And then, having the name Houston, some fans...
You can just hear the trash cans just bang. I mean, they're running up and down, just banging every trash can, yelling out curveball. We get it quite a bit, you know.
While the Apollos have been beaten up, they're by far the worst team in the league. They've never given up, losing 20% of their games by just 1 run.
We don't leave the hotel every day expecting to lose, if that makes sense. You know, we keep that arrogance and just trying to play hard. And, you know, it definitely has worn on guys a little bit, and it's been tough.
The Apollos, always the road team. A strange but true Houston sports story.
So you can binge all of those stories by Jason Bristol. We threw a link in the comments if you want to follow up, or like I said, go to our KHOU 11 YouTube page. You can also find the playlists on our free KHOU 11 Plus apps on Fire TV and Roku. If you just want to sit there, have it playing in the background, and you know one of those stories is going to pique your interest and you'll get glued to the TV. That always is what happens when we've got like ESPN on in the background, for example. I do want to pitch another playlist to maybe binge, and it's a special project for me that's Hidden Gems. So every Thursday we take you to a new spot around Houston, maybe, or show you something that you maybe heard of or haven't seen or haven't visited. And I've been all over the city, all over beyond the city, from Bolivar Peninsula up to Montgomery, out to Sheridan, just all over the place. We've done, I think, 23 at this point. We started in February and we've been doing them every week. I want to show you a preview of tomorrow's Hidden Gem. Anybody recognize that? It's relatively new, I will say. This location has been around for a long time, but the what's there now just opened to the public about 2 years ago. No guesses. None? All right, y'all. It is Houston Botanic Garden. It is one of my favorite places, and this view kind of shows you why. It's down by Hobby Airport. A short drive. It took me 15 minutes to get there this morning. I know with that shot, it looks like downtown is so far away, but it's 8 miles. And, oh, someone asked what this holiday is. Hudson, let me tell you about 713 Day. It's not an official holiday, nobody's getting the day off work, but it's a day celebrating Houston because of all of our area codes. It was the first, and it works out pretty nicely that it has a calendar date that goes along with it. Jonathan says 832 Day is never coming. Doesn't really work out on the calendar. So here we, and neither does 342 or 281. So 713 it is, which makes sense to me because, like I said, it is the original area code. Now, for those of you who remember life before the area codes, anybody have a party line? I grew up in the country, and we had a party line till I was like 7 or 8. If you don't know what a party line is, that's where all of your neighbors, you all share one phone line. I don't even know what our phone number was, if we had a phone number. I just remember we got to make calls at certain times during the day, and that you could always listen to what your neighbors were talking about. If they were on a call and you picked up the phone, just like if someone in the house picked up the phone while you were on the call, you could hear it. So, back in the day. Okay, so talking about hidden gems, taking you to Houston Botanic Garden tomorrow. I want to wrap this up with a just quintessentially Houston, quirky, absolutely amazing place that you gotta visit if you haven't. This is the Houston Beer Can House.
This is the work of a man named John Milkovich. He was a working class dude. He was an upholsterer for the Southern Pacific Railroad. And this is what he did as a pastime.
A pastime that took a lot of time, decades actually, to transform this into this.
What he told friends was he got sick of mowing the lawn and he got tired of painting the house, so he covered his lawn with concrete studded with marbles and rocks. And then it just spread from there.
Neighbors must have thought he'd lost his marbles.
Something his wife Mary liked to joke about.
When he started lining his house with flattened beer cans.
He would do it one row at a time while his wife Mary was away working at the cosmetics counter at Foley's. Like she wasn't gonna notice if he did it slowly.
Though the color's fading, you can still make out some of the brands. Texas Pride, Buckhorn, Shiner, Falstaff. Non-flattened versions of the cans are on display inside the house, along with John's work desk and tools.
If you go inside, you will see things like all of the original fixtures and hangings, the original paint colors. It's like a little time capsule in there.
All the details preserved, even the tile he hand-cut.
You know, for him, this wasn't any kind of highfalutin conceptual art. He was just a guy doing something in his spare time.
John never considered it art, but the Orange Show does.
We preserve these kinds of visionary art environments. We see value in a place like this where others might not.
The nonprofit knows you might not visit the Beer Can House for its art.
But secretly you're enjoying art while you're here, even if you don't realize it.
Just as John likely never realized his pastime would mesmerize generations of Houstonians.
For a guy like that who really just wanted to enjoy his life in his backyard and have a good time, for him to leave something like this behind, I just think it's so cool and wonderful.
Let me know if you've stopped by. I've gotten to visit a couple of times, and you notice new things every time. So many details that this single man invested into that home. Brenda had a question about the area codes. She listed all of them, 713-281-832. 346 is the only one that has been added to your list. She says 713 is inside Beltway. It was inside Beltway until it maxed out. Now, even if you live inside the Beltway and you get a new number, you're probably going to get 832, 281, or 346. It's tough to come by a 713 these days. And the others, it just depends on where you get your phone. I wanted to see if there are any more comments, any questions. I don't know, there's some people out there who are either confused about 713 Day or are not big fans of the idea. Hey, any excuse to get special deals on food, drinks. There are a bunch of merch drops happening today, like Bun B announced, I think it was an NFT related to Houston. We have an article on that on KHOU.com as well. But if no one else is commenting, no one else wants to share, I'll go ahead and wrap this up. But last plea for you to go over it. Oh, hold on, now I gotta find it. Here we go. Pop over to KHOU's YouTube page. These are all of our playlists. Let's see if it's gonna let me scroll. Ah, look at that. You can see all of the different ones. We have a lot, but there's Strange But True and Living in the Lone Star Hidden Gems. Both, I know I'm biased, but I would argue that both are worth binging if you have the time or are just looking to do something inside, because 713 could also, I swear, be the temperature outside today. I'll leave you with that. Be sure to tune in for KHOU 11 News at 4, the 411. We're also on at 5, 6, and 10. Have a great day and happy 713 Day.